we are going to discuss some NBA playoffs. Yes, 2 game 7s yesterday. First game was the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks, and the second game was the Phoenix Suns against the Dallas Mavericks. And both of them, I mean, to battle to the game 7 for both of them to end the way they did was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah, well, look, the Milwaukee Boston game was closer. They blew that one open at the end, but even that one was, it was hanging around the 10 to 15 point range for a good bit. But Milwaukee was still in it, right?
Yeah.
Not so for Phoenix. As a reporter mentioned to him in the post game press conference, Luka had as many points as the Suns at halftime of that game. They were up by over 40 at one point. They went into the half up 30. It ballooned up over 40, and then the Suns kind of started chipping away at it a little bit. But yeah, two very disappointing performances for Phoenix and Milwaukee to close out the season.
All right, so let's start with the Boston and Milwaukee game. B, you had Milwaukee winning it all. I had Boston winning it all. I think I would have been happier with Milwaukee because I like Giannis.
Yeah,
but I just felt that Boston was gonna take it. All right, what are you guys takes from that game and that series?
Who's Robert Williams?
Right.
And who gave him the green light? Because yes, he hit 7 3-pointers, but he shot 18
Robert Grant.
Is that
y'all don't even know the man's name? He just tied the record for threes for Boston in the game 7. Y'all just disrespecting the man.
Hey, bro, sorry, but Lord,
what's up, man?
He woke up and definitely had his Wheaties. And he didn't care what was going on because that man put up 18 3-pointers. Like he knew he was going to make them. So, no, I mean, I thought going into the game, Boston being home would be a tough out. It wasn't one that I figured they would win. I thought it would be closer than it was, just because Giannis is just that guy and quite possibly the best player in the world, right? So, but man, Tatum. Boston, I mean, they have gotten hot at the right time, and they've continued this throughout the playoffs. So, shout out to them, man. I knew going home it would be a tough out for Milwaukee to win that game.
Yeah, I thought Milwaukee was going to take it, and early on it looked like Giannis was going to have one of those Giannis games. In the first quarter, he was nearly unstoppable, and then he stopped a good bit. Milwaukee couldn't hit a shot, and you really saw them them missing Chris Middleton because without him out there, if Giannis isn't going, they don't have anybody who can really turn it on. They don't have anybody who can score on their own. They were ice cold from 3. Grayson Allen was 0 for 6 for the game. Nothing was clicking. And I think also the thing that really stood out to me was the referees. And they didn't let anybody get into a rhythm. And I'm not saying that they gave Boston the game. I'm talking about both ways. It was officiated horribly. And, they just kind of inserted themselves in. And, like I said, nobody could get into a rhythm. It was, blown whistle every other play. And it wasn't good to watch. But Milwaukee, they couldn't get it going. Their plan was, hey, let Grant Williams beat us. And then he did.
And then he did, yeah. The officiating, man, like, like you said, it really took away from that. I hate when they do that, especially in game 7, right? You gotta let them play, man. Like they battled that far. You can't be a part of that, right? Like they have to be the ones to settle it. But I think Milwaukee, because a few of these games in the series, they battled back, right? Because that was not last game, game 5, I think.
Yeah, but they were down 14 in the fourth, midway through the fourth, they came back and won.
I think there's a little bit of that going on where they felt like, yeah, we can make a run late. I noticed that a lot of times with Giannis is, all right, fourth quarter, I need to step up and take over. And he does, but in a closeout game like this against a good team like that, you can't bank on that. So yeah, they fell short. And props to Boston. So now they got Miami up next. That should be a good series. I'm not sure who I'm going to take in that one yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking Boston. Jimmy Butler, he's a great player, but top to bottom, I think Boston's a better team. Jason Tatum's a better player than Jimmy Butler, and typically I like to go with the team that has the best player. Obviously it didn't work out for Milwaukee, but I think that's they were missing their number 2, and they just kind of went ice cold there. But I'm definitely going to be taking Boston over Miami. I'm not sure that it's going to be particularly close. I'm gonna say 6, but I don't think it's I think it's gonna be 4 fairly comfortable wins.
Okay. Deshaun has Boston in 7. Okay.
What's up, Deshaun?
Yeah, thanks for coming through.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me too. So part of me, I keep waiting for Boston to hit that wall, right? And I thought this was the series where they would. They lost a couple home games. They went back and forth. And every time you thought that, Milwaukee was going to put the dagger in them, they found a way to win a game. They needed to win to keep the series alive. They did it. Then went home and closed it out. But then there's a small part of me that's like, man, they going to hit that wall. Like, can they really sustain this throughout the entire playoffs? And it is possible. We've seen it happen before. I want to lean towards Boston, like B is saying, but Jimmy's tough, man. And I think that this will be a physical series.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it will come down to which team is a little more tough or tougher in the situation when it comes down to, them grind out moments in the game. And Jimmy is just that guy. But I feel you, B. It's hard. It's hard for me to not say Boston can win this series. But I do think I can agree with Deshaun. I think that it will go 6 to 7 games. Whatever way it swings.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to go 7. But I'm not sure. But I'm leaning towards Miami. And only reason I say that is because, yes, Boston beat the team with the better player, right? But I think Miami has a better all-around team. And Jimmy Butler ain't Giannis, but Jimmy's Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy, he ain't no slouch. And I think they had a better coach. I think it's tough. I'm leaning towards Miami right now, and they have the home court advantage too, right? Because they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
So right now, I would give Miami the slight advantage. I'll go Miami in 7. Ravens online on Gatekeeper says Miami at 5. 5.
Wow. The Baker sweep, the gentleman's sweep.
Okay. Raven Ron says, as long as Boston loses, I'm good, but a sweep would be desirable.
I would just say, gentleman's sweep is my favorite sports term of all time.
What's up, Mr. J?
How you doing, Jay?
All right, the other game. Listen, if you guys this game was what? It was 27 points at the end. Right?
Let me see. I thought it was a little bit more than that. Let me check here.
It was a heck of a lot.
123 to 90.
Yeah.
So 33.
33
point win for Dallas in Phoenix against the number 1 seed and defending Western Conference champions.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that game was and that was with Phoenix catching up. Right? That was with Phoenix catching up in the game. I mean, look,
we had 21, 6, and 4 from Chris Paul and Devin Booker combined in that game. Look, not a great showing.
Not at all.
Listen, man. We all know how B feels about Chris Paul. But he's a great player, right? That was a very good team. Look, he's still a great player. He choked. Right, like he choked. That's what he did, and they all choked. It wasn't just him. Like nobody played well. Booker choked too. Like they all played terrible.
They adopted the choker's mentality.
Yeah, and that was they were at home, right?
Yeah.
Like, and here's the thing. I heard Shaq talk about it. Shaq said, "Hey, look, sometimes you just have bad nights, and their bad night came on that night," which is true, right? And it's unfortunate, but the fact is, man, this is what we judge these players and these teams by. You can say it's unfair, yeah, but that's what it is, right? Like this is how we judge greatness, because the standard is Michael Jordan because he's got 6 rings, even though it's not the most rings won by Hall of Famer. But it's 6 rings, and LeBron's 4 don't stand up to Michael Jordan's 6. And LeBron's lost in the finals and things like that. All right, man. Like, I think Chris Paul's an excellent player. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. But you had your opportunity to win last year. You're up 2 games, and then you didn't. You blew that.
Yeah.
You had a stacked team this year. You get to game 7, you had a home court advantage. Things are looking your way, and you didn't even come close. Didn't even come close in this game. You got completely erased. Hey man, like, you get what you get.
And look, that's kind of a part of the problem that I have with Shaq saying, "Oh, they had a bad night." Well, they had 4 straight bad nights to end last season. It's not a bad night. It's just that everyone in the NBA and most in the media outside of Patrick Beverley tiptoe around saying what it is with Chris Paul.
Yep.
He doesn't show up in those kind of games.
Right.
Man, it is what it is.
What you think, Mikey?
What did Chris Paul do to you, B?
He hasn't done anything to me, but I can tell you what he would do to me if I was on a court with him and scoring. I think we all know exactly what he would do in that situation.
Man, look. You know what? I think we watched Phoenix hit the wall. That wall that I was talking about, that Boston may hit in this series. I mean, none of them. Chris Paul, Booker, they've never played a stretch of basketball like this. And going back to last year, right? Making 2 long runs in the playoffs. Never has happened for them. That's what makes what LeBron has done for, what was it, 9 straight years or something, 10 straight years or something like that. That's what makes that so impressive. Excuse me, guys. That's what happens when you live in the hood if you hear the fire truck. But so I feel like they ran out of gas. I mean, you're looking at outside of Chris Paul, right? Who we know has never made a run that deep into the playoffs. You're looking at a young team, right? And this was their chance. I mean, it was set up for them to Giannis just got put out, right? They playing Dallas. I gave Dallas 0 chance yesterday. Going into that game, I'm like, Phoenix about to smack these dudes. Like, that's it. And shout out to them because they pulled it off. Luka is amazing. Me and Jose were talking about this earlier. If he ever was to get in that much shape,
yes,
he'd be the best player in the world.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I think they hit the wall, man. And I do feel bad for Monty, right? Because I think Monty Williams was a good guy, good coach, been through a lot. You know what I mean? So
Coach of the year.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen, it work out for him. But it is what it is. They ran into a buzzsaw named Luka.
Luckily for Monty, his coaching career is going to far outlive Chris Paul's playing career. So he'll have his chances without that curse hanging around his neck. Luka was great. They got big time contributions from Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson. They really came together in that game. And I mean, I like to say that's what you need to win in Game 7, but it didn't look like they needed it because Phoenix didn't show up. Their leading scorer had 12. But they're going to need that moving forward if they want any chance of beating Golden State.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mr. J said, "What the Monty?" I think he said Ayton. What did Ayton mean internal when he said, and they asked him about internal? I missed that comment. I'm not sure what he said.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that DeAndre Ayton got benched in this game. He only played 17 minutes. That's what kind of Pat Beverly was going off about on ESPN as well, saying they should have benched Chris Paul instead of DeAndre Ayton. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with them, but they've had an ongoing thing where they're kind of going back and forth on whether or not they should pay him or let him go. So I guess we'll see. They have an interesting summer ahead of them.
Ravens Online says, "Damn, B, don't sugarcoat it. Tell us how you really feel."
I mean, we all saw it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, man. My thing is, you got to take advantage of those times, those chances when you get there. I can't see them making this run again. I'll be honest. Chris Paul's gonna be another year older.
Mhm.
Devin Booker. I think if anybody is going to benefit from these type of situations, it's going to be Devin Booker, right?
Yeah.
Like these are situations that will be invaluable to him because he'll learn and he'll know what it feels like to be there. If he gets there again. But I don't know, man. Last year, the run they made last year came kind of out of nowhere. For them to do it again this year was impressive. I think this team is probably going to look a little different. I think they will let Ayton walk. They're not going to want to pay him the way that he wants to get paid. And then you got young players like Miles Bridges and those other guys. And I don't know, it's not Miles.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael Bridges. Mikal, right? Yeah. And what are you going to do? And if you let Ayton walk, then do you look to make another move to bring another superstar in there to try to form a big three with this to maybe take some of that off of Paul so that he can kind of coast out throughout the year and then in playoff time kind of go full throttle then. Like what moves do they make and that's going to be the make or break for this team, I think, if they're going to make another run.
Yeah, I think Aiton's definitely gone, and that's what Hendo's saying right here. Aiton is leaving. Yeah, they're not gonna pay him. And look, I saw it coming from last year. I mean, Monty was telling him like he's got to be more aggressive, right? Like they need to see a little bit more dog in him, and he just don't have it. They're definitely gonna look to bring in somebody that can give them that little more of that edge. Are they gonna be able to get a superstar? I don't know about that, but I can see them trying to bring in a combination of people, right, to kind of supplement that. They will be right here again next year. I think they're talented, right? Yes, even with Chris Paul being older, I think that's still a talented team. They can be right there. Will they win it? I don't know. Let's see what kind of moves they make in the offseason, but they're gonna be competitive. At least they're not going to fall off a cliff, and especially with Monty coaching them. So, it's one of those things where there may not be a whole lot that you can do, but you're going to compete, and you never know what happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to go away. I mean, they'll be a playoff team next year. I think they're going to be more like a 4 or 5 seed. If they want to actually compete for an NBA championship, they have to bring in a player better than Devin Booker because he is not the best player on an NBA championship team.
Yeah.
He's shown that a couple years in a row now.
Yeah. Deshaun says it's time to bring out them brooms. # Dumb Nation.
They ain't sweeping nobody.
They ain't gonna be a sweep, man.
But gentlemen,
who do you have?
5 games.
You think Golden State in 5 games?
Golden State 5 games.
What you think, B?
I'm gonna say, like I say, Golden State's the better team, but they are a little bit older, a little bit vulnerable. I'm gonna say Luka pushes them to 7.
Okay. Oh, okay. But you still have
Golden State, yeah.
I'm picking the upset, guys.
Wow.
I'm picking Fat Luka to take it to the finals. Yes, Fat Luka is going to the NBA finals. You heard it here first.
Fat Luka. Oh,
Dallas
man.
in 7. Yes,
wow.
I called it. Dallas in 7. I'm calling the upset.
I tell you what, if Dallas gets past Golden State, I'm rooting for Luka to get a chip.
I'm rooting for Luka too. I am.